What's up everybody, Josh Quinones here, and in my hand I have a device that has been loved by some and hated by others, and today I'm gonna go ahead and give you my own thoughts and opinions on this device. This is my review of the Google Pixel 4 XL. Okay, so let's start with design. Now, Google has never really been known for bringing the best looking devices, especially with the Pixel 3 XL and the huge notch it had. But this year they did change that, and in my opinion, it actually looks better than last year's, and I actually kind of like it for the most part. It has improved and it's something different that we don't see in a lot of devices. The one I have here is the clearly white model, having this cool color combo with a white matte finish in the back, attracting no noticeable fingerprints, and the matte black edges all the way around. And then we got this cool orange accent colored power button. Now when it comes to the square camera setup, if I'm being honest here, I didn't really like the look of it at first, but then after having this device for a while, I've actually gotten used to it. Now going over to the front, you'll see that there is no more ugly notch. Instead, it now has a full forehead, which, yeah, it still isn't the best design, but I will take this over any notch any day. And while I do prefer more of a bezel-less looking display, I actually don't mind this one at all. It's a great looking display, colors look nice and vibrant, and it can run smooth at 90 Hz, which makes using it a super smooth experience. Now the one thing I don't like is how bright it gets, or doesn't get I should say. It's fine when using it indoors and can be bright enough then, but once you step outside into direct sunlight, it can get hard to see what you're doing, and I just feel it needs to be brighter. But as far as overall design goes, I don't have any major problems with it at all. The power button and volume rockers are in a comfortable spot, and it actually feels really good in the hands. The nice sleek design makes it easy to hold, and this is probably the one device that I actually feel comfortable carrying around without a case. It doesn't feel too slippery, and I don't have to worry about constantly cleaning the fingerprints off the back because of that matte finish. Now, even though the display isn't truly bezel-less or doesn't get the brightest, it still looks really good when watching content. Colors are nice and vibrant, and then we have a stereo speaker setup as well, and the speakers actually sound really good. It can get pretty loud. Now, only one of them is front-facing, so you'll need to be careful not to cover up the other one when watching videos. Here's a little sample. So going over some of the specs, this is the 128GB variant, no expandable storage with 6GB of RAM. It's got the Snapdragon 855 processor, a 3700 mAh battery, which we will get into in a bit. It's IP68 water resistant, and it's running Android 10. Okay, now let's talk about the cameras. Google has always had some of the best cameras in their devices when it comes to taking photos, and cameras have become a big factor these days when trying to find the right smartphone. And this device has 3 in total, 1 on the front and 2 in the back. Now, I'm not much of a selfie guy, but the front camera on this device takes some great selfies with pictures coming out clean with great detail, especially when it comes to portrait mode. Edge detection has gotten so good. Now there are times when it does struggle with edge detection just a little bit, but for the most part, portrait shots come out great. Now when it comes to the rear cameras, we now have 2, a main wide lens and a telephoto lens. Now, to be honest, I really wish there was an ultra wide lens. Like, I really wish this phone had one, but unfortunately, Google decided to go the route of a telephoto lens. But either way, you just can't go wrong when taking photos on this device. Pictures come out great with a lot of detail, and a lot of it has to do with the software. Google has always been about software, and that is a big factor as to why these photos come out so good on this device. Even when zoomed in all the way at 8 times, a lot of detail is is still kept in the photo, which is actually pretty amazing. Night shots come out really clean as well using night sight, and it's just crazy how much it brightens up the picture even when in a really dark area. And then there's astrophotography, which is even crazier. Being in a super dark spot that's pretty much pitch black and then being able to take photos of the stars and things around you is really cool. Overall, you just can't go wrong when taking photos with this device. Now, when it comes to video recording, it's a bit of a different story. In my opinion, I feel this phone still needs some work with that. Google pays so much attention to photos, but doesn't seem they are putting that same attention into video recording. The front camera can record only at 1080p, not 4K, which is a bummer, and the rear cameras have no 4K 60 frames per second. And I actually like filming at 60 frames per second in 4K sometimes. Now, I have done some video tests with this device in both daytime and nighttime, and if you want to check those videos out, I will link them down below, but here's a little sample. Alright, so this is just a quick sample with the front-facing camera filming at 1080p. Like I said, I already made videos about the front-facing camera and the rear-facing camera in the daytime and at nighttime. I will link those videos down in the description below in case you'd like to check those out. But this is just a quick test, really quick. Let me go to move around here. I'll do a little bit of jogging so we can go ahead and test out stabilization. Here we go, doing a little bit of jogging here. There we are. Also, let me know how well the mics are picking up my voice. I got some background sounds. We actually got cars driving on the other side of this wall right here. So let me know if it's picking up any of that and how well the mics are blocking out the wind, if it's blocking it out at all. But this is just a quick test with the front facing camera. Let's go and switch over to the rear. All right, so we are now on the rear facing camera filming at 4K, 30 frames per second. Go ahead and get a little bit of movement here. I'll do a little bit of jogging so we can check out stabilization with the rear camera as well. There we go. And go ahead and pan around a little bit here. Again, let me know how well the mics are doing. Let me know what you think about the quality as well. This has just been a quick test with the rear facing camera of the Pixel 4 XL. Like I said, I have separate videos for these, which I will link down in the description below, so you can go ahead and check those out. So when it comes to performance, this device runs like a beast. This has got to be one of the most smoothest phones I've used. It's snappy with no lag. This 90Hz display is just a joy to use. Now, out of the box, depending on the screen brightness and usage, the device will jump from 60Hz to 90Hz, but you do have the option to force 90Hz on all the time in developer options, which is what I did. It just makes using this device that much better. It does give you that stock Android experience, keeping it very clean and simple, and this phone can pretty much handle anything I throw at it. I've even done a lot of gaming on this phone just to put it to the test, and I haven't had any problems at all. At least none that I've noticed. It handles it very well. I've even edited a full 4K video on this device with no problems. Now, if there's one thing that needs to be better, it's RAM management. We need more RAM in this device because even though it handles all of my usage well, if I have a ton of apps open at once and then go back to use a previous app, sometimes it ends up refreshing that app, so I can't just go back and pick up where I left off. But overall, I think performance is great. I just wish it had better RAM management. Now, you'll notice that there is no fingerprint sensor this year, which I actually did like. They have taken that away and instead gave us facial recognition, and it's actually pretty fast. Because of the radars they put on the forehead of this device, the phone senses when I'm about to pick it up, so it's already getting ready to read my face. Then the moment I start holding it up to my face, it's already unlocked, so it works really good. Now, there is a situation right now where it unlocks with your eyes closed, so hopefully they can fix that with an update soon here. Now, a cool feature they brought this year is motion sense. Some call it a gimmick, but I actually find myself using it, especially in the morning when my alarm is going off. I'm able to just wave my hand over the device to silence it without having to pick it up half asleep, trying to open my eyes to swipe the screen. I also use it to switch songs when listening to music, which comes in handy as well. You can even wave hi to Pikachu or other Pokemon. Now, I've noticed for some people it works with YouTube as well, but for some reason mine doesn't. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something or doing something wrong, but I've tried over and over again and can't seem to get it to work. But other than that, it works pretty good and is actually a cool feature to have. Another cool feature is live captions. Once you turn this on, it will give you live captions pretty much to any video you watch with pretty good timing as well. It doesn't fall too far behind from the video, and from my experience has been very accurate. Another cool thing is the voice recorder. Yes, not only does it record your voice, but it actually types down everything you are saying as well, which definitely comes in handy for me when I want to type out my voiceovers for some of my videos. Then if you want to go back and search for a certain spot in that text, you can search for a keyword which will show you all the spots in your text that you actually used that word. It will even highlight it for you. It works very well and definitely comes in handy. Okay, now let's talk battery life. So when I first heard about the size of the battery, I was a little concerned with how the battery life would be with the 3700 milliamp battery running a 90 Hz display. But if I'm being totally honest here, it actually hasn't been that bad. Now, this is all based on my own experience and usage, but I'm actually able to get through a whole day of usage. Now, I can't get super late into the night, but it does get me through the day, and I'm getting anywhere between 5.5 to sometimes 7 hours of screen on time, which is pretty good. And I'm a pretty heavy user. This is all with 90 Hz forced on all the time. If I don't force 90 Hz, I can get even better battery life. But like I said, this is all based on my usage. Everyone's usage is different. I actually did an all-day battery drain test, and if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link down in the description below. Now, as far as dislikes go, there is a couple. As I mentioned earlier, I do wish this device had a brighter display. I also wish it had that ultra wide angle camera lens, because in other devices that I do own, I do use that ultra wide angle a lot. So it would have been nice to have that. I also wish it had a headphone jack. Now, most people don't care about this anymore, but I actually use it when editing videos. Sound can be kind of delayed when using wireless earbuds, so it would have been nice to have that headphone jack. Another thing, like I mentioned earlier, is more RAM. It would have been nice to have even 8 gigs of RAM for better RAM management, so I can run more apps at once without having to refresh when I go back to another. Now, one last thing is expandable storage. It would have been nice to be able to throw an SD card in this device, especially since the base model only comes with 64 gigabytes of storage. I mean, what is that about? In my opinion, I think we need more than 64 gigs. And the next choice is 128 gigabytes. Now, that right there should have been the base model, and then maybe give us a 256 gigabyte variant. Either way, I wish we could have had the option for an SD card, especially since I record a lot of 4K video and take a lot of pictures. I've used up to 128 gigabytes of storage before. But overall, after using this device for a while now, I am actually liking it. Yeah, it needs a few tweaks here and there, but it is still a great device. Now, is it worth the price of around $1,000 for the model I have here? Honestly, I feel the price should be a little lower. For $1,000, it's gonna kind of be a hard sell compared to other devices out on the market right now. If it was around maybe $800 or $850, then yes, that would be a better deal. But either way, overall, like I said, it's been treating me pretty good so far. I have no major complaints, just a few things here and there as I mentioned. But y'all let me know your thoughts down in the comment sections below. This has been my review of the Google Pixel 4 XL. If you liked this video and found it helpful, make sure to leave a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any other future videos to come. Thank you so much for watching. This is Josh Quinones, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out.